Hello, Giants fans. Welcome to Giants Baseball 101. I'm Gabe Vaughn, your host. A lot has been going on for the Giants this offseason. It's not so far been the very best that they had hoped for. And really the goal for today is not to predict how all of this is going to end, because we just don't know yet. It's still, we're getting close to mid-January, but I don't think at this point we're looking either to panic or to be too optimistic about how this offseason is going to end, because we really don't know. But Buster Posey is in charge, and I think it's very reasonable to assume that he's getting help from the guys under him, and that he's not the sole thinker in all the decisions that the Giants are making. But the way the free agent market is, it was for a while Corbin Burnes that they were looking to sign, and they missed out on him. And I do think this just points to the Giants' inability to get stuff done, and now obviously Farhan Zaidi is gone, but I just think that the hangover effect could be real, and they could, it could just be hard for them to immediately just regain their ability to sign top free agents. And it's also likely that the Giants aren't really seen by many guys on the market as the ideal landing spot, the ideal place to be, just due to this organizational history of not being able to get the superstar talent. And when they do, it can be these washed up older players, which they just signed one who fits that category completely. We'll get to that in a minute, but first, on Corbin Burnes, it definitely, yes, he signed a massive contract with the Diamondbacks, but it just doesn't in any way excuse missing out on him. But Roki Sasaki is still available. As far as we know, he hasn't narrowed anything down on one team he's pursuing, and people are making predictions on where he's going to land. Obviously, the Dodgers are a real contender there, and as always, and this would be the case even if he didn't land with the Dodgers, but there's just, at this point, I hope we understand we should never be impressed by the Giants claiming to have matched another team's offer. And I don't think I even need to explain why. We realize that a player is worth whatever the market says he is worth. And that's just how it goes. And the winning teams may be the ones that outbid everybody else. That's just how it works. And if the Giants cannot do this, at some point, they don't fix themselves. It's not happening completely from within their organization. So I just hope we're not going to hear any more fake stuff about the Giants trying really hard by matching another team's offer, whether that's the Dodgers or not. Which, by the way, when the Giants match the Dodgers offer for any particular player, I mean, do we even need to ask which team has the advantage, or which team looks like a better destination for that player? Unless, only reason I could ever think of is just if you have a free agent who doesn't want to be on a great team because he wants to make another team really great. But I just don't think that's much against the appeal that the Dodgers just have to offer to any that they think is a potential suitor. So matching the Dodgers' offers on the Giants' part, I'm sorry, that's not impressive at all. And it really isn't with any other teams out there either. But just to put it very clearly, they can't miss out on Roki Sasaki. That just can't happen. They have to sign him at just about any cost. He's young. He's going to really projected to be really good. Have a really good future in the big leagues, and I think just plenty more years to go. Big money, long-term contract, it's just whatever's necessary. There has to be no missing out, and there is no excuse at all for not signing him to a long-term contract, because he's not old. He's not past the point where he should be getting those kind of things. Now, I do want to talk about Justin Verlander, because I think that's the signing that's going to be probably the most controversial, just given his age, and he'll be 42 this year. He was signed to a 1-year, $15 million contract, and on average, players are retired, certainly before they get to his age. But Verlander is just a guy who's wanted to pitch as long as he can, and he's getting that opportunity with the Giants, and it seems to be a pattern for the Giants. I apparently continuing even to their new change of management, that their best chance to get would be considered a top level player is when they get past their prime, which is not ideal. But obviously we understand the kind of player Verlander has been just throughout his entire career. He's been a great pitcher, like I mean, was lights out at one point. But of course, there are all the questions now. And I'm actually going to argue that signing him was the right choice, and it was something they needed to do, because they have to take a risk somewhere. When we're at a point where they need to get free agents right now, first, I just don't think we should be surprised that they would have to take a risk on somebody. Like that is where the Giants are at. And I think Verlander was a very well calculated one. Yeah, he had a bad 2024 season, but the evidence you got to weigh against that is, I mean, as recently as 2022, he had just, you couldn't say enough about it, an absolutely terrific season with the Astros. And then he was pretty good in the subsequent 2023 season. But it's 2022 that really just sticks out as a great season with the Astros. Then the backdrop of 2024, and of course, the fact that he's not getting any younger. But you look at the positives, and I think you have to see enough chance of maybe a rebound that there's certainly, I'm just thinking back to 2022, and it wasn't all that long ago. If Verlander's able to stay healthy, which obviously that's harder for older players, the chances of it going well is quite enough, and just the stakes are so high, and they get higher every offseason if the Giants just have to look like they can somehow be a contender. Signing Verlander, I think without question, was the right move. I mean, it's not a multi-year deal. It's a 1-year deal. Let's see how he does. I think it's likely he could be a great part of the Giants' rotation. It certainly was worth a try. And then they agreed, at least with 3 of their guys, to arbitration contracts. Lamont Wade Jr. gets $5 million. Tyler Rogers, I think it was around that range as well in his 3rd year of arbitration. But what really stood out to me, what really surprised me, was Camilo Doval's deal. In his 1st year of arbitration, he's getting $4.5 million, which I guess I'm just a bit surprised that it's that high for him. in his first year. I mean, that's a good amount. Definitely for a reliever, and we know that those are the most undervalued guys in baseball. Totally the most undervalued. But Doval, for the vast majority of his time with the Giants, since his major league debut, has been their closer, and he's racked up a considerable amount of saves. He's also had his serious weaknesses, and they were the most evident in the 2024 season. But he was an all-star in 2023. Still, yeah, I think it's kind of surprising that they go $4.5 million with him. But it is clear that they see him as a very valuable piece going forward, and that they think he could have a really great future, which he really could. And I would say with Doval, it's really a high risk, high reward thing going forward. He could be great, but of course there are the weaknesses to consider as well. So they are going all in with him, and he's clearly being valued really highly as a player, and I would assume he will be the closer at the start of 2025. I think just last year, I mean, Ryan Walker was pitching well, he wasn't, and it just, they saw the need to change, but I don't think they ever saw that move as permanent. Expect to see Doval back in the 9th inning once the season starts. And I also think, of course, you always get these occasional rumors about if the Giants are considering trading him, and I wouldn't pay attention to any of those because I don't think it's going to happen unless he grossly underperforms and they found another team that would take him. But other than that happening, that I don't really see that as the way things are going to go. And then Tyler Rogers, just going back to him, it's likely he will be pitching the 8th inning like he's done so many times for the Giants so far. And I think that's all I got for right now. Again, we're just leaving the results of this offseason kind of open right now because it's too early to call them yet, even though it's January. So we've seen the Giants make some progress, but it remains an absolute must for them to sign Roki Sasaki. There are not too many excuses that would justify not doing that. Thank you for watching. This has been Giants Baseball 101. Please subscribe if you haven't. Also, please leave your questions and comments. You know where to do it. I'll see you next time on Giants Baseball 101.